What is up, Nuggets?
Nugget.
It's your boy. You threw me off. It's your boy, Killer Pizza.
And Nick Baker.
Here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there.
Rapscallions.
We got Nick Baker Jr., Dylan Baker.
Jr.
Hop in here, man. Dylan Baker
Woo!
Jr. So,
What's this?
Halloween Kills came out yesterday. And we are about to watch it tonight. The moment this, I'm going to say sun goes down, the moment it gets dark, it's going to be a good time. We're about to watch this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alright guys, here is my review for the brand new Halloween Kills, just released this past Friday. It's a Sunday now. As you can see, I went over to Nick Baker's and we watched Halloween Kills on the projector screen outside. You know, that was pretty cool. I must say, first of all, I wanted to see this movie in the theaters, but watching a film on the projector screen was something I always also wanted to do. And it's, you know, October, I love fall. I mean, a little chilly when we watched the movie, but yeah, I thought it was cool to watch the movie that way. And this review here isn't going to necessarily be spoiler heavy. It's hard for me to say if it's a spoiler review or a non-spoiler review. For the most part, it'll be a non-spoiler, but some things are going to peek their way through. And I just got to say, we went to review this last night after we watched the movie. But, you know, I just couldn't put it all together. I had to kind of take the whole night and let it simmer. You know, sometimes you got to sleep on something. And I hate to say it, guys, I was not too impressed. I did not care for this movie too much. You know, I've heard a lot of people out there talking about, oh, it's the middle movie in the trilogy. And I get it. The second act in a film is usually, you know, a lot of times the most boring act. But that shouldn't be an excuse for this film. Now, I'll get right into the plot for the most part. It's pretty simple. Michael Myers, it picks up right after where the 2018 version ended, which I am a huge fan of because that is how the original and the second movie in the franchise work out. So it's kind of cool. Not continuity-wise, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, I don't know. I just think it was cool that they followed the same path that the original two took. But with that being said, didn't live up to the hype that I wanted. They pretty much show it how it ended with Michael Myers in Jamie Lee Curtis's basement, catching on fire and getting locked down there, and all the firefighters come, which I do love that part, which you've probably seen in the trailers, where they're leaving in the back of that pickup truck and the firefighters are coming that way, and Jamie Lee Curtis is like, no, let him burn, let him burn. And one of the best parts of the movie is this opening scene, the one everybody, all you pansies, were bitching about, like all the firefighters being killed. It's just a movie, guys. Come on. Shit, you can sit here and watch a superhero movie, Marvel, and watch the whole city get destroyed, and you're not offended by an entire city getting destroyed, Godzilla style, but some firefighters get killed. I mean, and everyone's so upset. It was a good part. I mean, it shows like the intensity of Michael Myers, and I mean, who doesn't like kills? That's if you watch this channel, you know that's what I'm all about. I love the gore, I love the kills. But the storyline keeps going to the point where, like, I like that they brought a lot of these older characters back from the original, like these kids that have grown up in the town, like Tommy Jarvis. Not Tommy Jarvis. What am I talking about? I can't think of his name right now. I'm thinking of Friday the 13th with Tom Matthews, or Corey Feldman for that matter. But yeah, they brought back a lot of these original characters, these kids, and showed them growing up. And I just think the movie spent too much time in the second act giving backstories to where these characters have been. Very dialogue heavy, you know, and I don't know, it just hit flat for me because the movie can be broken down, I mean, obviously in the three acts. It's like the first act and the third act were good because Michael Myers was on like a Jason Voorhees style murder spree, and there were some very gory kills. This is like by far one of the most brutal Halloween movies I've ever seen in terms of kills, and that's actually one of the only things that really made me a fan of this when I watched it, because, you know, it starts hot with him killing the firefighters, escaping from the area, and then going on the run, and then we had all this dialogue and this character development, and normally I'm a fan of that if it's done right, but it seemed like they were really reaching for like a lot of storylines that didn't need to be told in such a story like this. Granted, I am happy that any film would try to like reach and get a little more out than just doing the same thing over and over again. So I guess it's kind of a catch-22. You know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just didn't work for me. A solid hour of the middle of this movie was just the townspeople building up into like some kind of a lynch mob to go after Michael Myers, and then the final act, you know, was iffy but pretty good with certain surprises that they had. Not much of a soundtrack in this movie. What really threw me off in this film was there was a scene where the whole town is chasing after Michael Myers, and it's so corny. They have hockey sticks and baseball bats. Like, nobody has a rifle or nothing, and they're like chanting, "Evil dies, evil." Like, didn't work for me. They're chasing this mental institution patient. It's Michael Myers. I'm like, this guy was like 5'8", like a kind of a chubbier build. Like, oh, come on, guys, you don't recognize Michael Myers? I mean, has grown bigger through the years. I mean, he's like 6'8" in the Rob Zombie ones. I digress, because this is a direct sequel from '78. But it's like, Michael Myers is at least like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot tall with a, you know, not a slim build, but it's like, you guys can't recognize this isn't Michael Myers. Maybe I'm nitpicking in a movie about like a serial killer, but they chase this guy down, and the one of the lead girls, I think the daughter, is like, I'm not gonna let them kill you, and she goes to like secure the doors while the mob comes after this guy, and I feel like they were reaching too far. They made it like too dramatic. He ends up like taking his own life, jumping off the building to get away from like the mob, and then they're like, this isn't Michael Myers. Well, you guys didn't figure that out before you decided to chase him down and kill him. I'm just saying, man. Like, I wear a lot of black, so what? I'm a big bearded guy in a black hoodie, and you guys are just gonna chase me down and kill me? No, like, you gotta do a little research. Like, just plot holes like that. This movie seemed forced. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis didn't even barely appear in the movie. I mean, isn't that a part of what we're here for? At least when you're comparing it to the 2018 version. But I don't know. I'm nitpicking. It has a lot to do with the fact that I was expecting a lot more, the way this stuff was hyped up. And I would just say, honestly, most of the plot, the whole movie, I didn't care for. Like, I like the flashbacks from '78. They did a great job. It looked great. But then they kind of make like a new backstory to that, with like a cop that was back there back in the day, and he's in a hospital bed telling the story to Jamie Lee Curtis, like, oh, we should have killed him back in the day, and he's got some connection with Michael Myers. And I'm like, why is this all added on? Like, I mean, granted, they took away the storyline of Jamie Lee Curtis being related to Michael Myers. It's apparently just a rumor. But, I mean, once again, if you enjoyed it, I'm very happy about it. Maybe if I watched it again, I would think differently. And I really like movies that try to reach and get a little more, something new, be creative. But this just didn't work for me. It came off pretty corny. There was a lot of scenes that weren't needed. I mean, I never thought I'd say this about a Halloween movie, but I'm a big activist, not act. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Pretty much, there's a standard to movies that are like an hour and 30 minutes. If the movie sucks, you know, you could say that should have been an hour and 20 minutes, not an hour and 40. Like, I think they could have cut a good 20 minutes of the dialogue off, and it would have been more impactful. This did not need to be an hour and 40 minutes for the story they were telling, which I definitely respect the idea of them storytelling and pushing it on to the final one, Halloween Ends, which is supposed to be the final one in the trilogy. But me being a picky Michael Myers Halloween fan, this one just didn't do it for me. Yeah, just so many little storylines that were trying to be added in, way too heavy on the dialogue without really going anywhere, which made the movie kind of drag towards the center. And it just felt off to me. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it. I'll just say it. I was saying this last night, right after we watched the movie. We were going to review it, me and Nick Baker, but we just really couldn't put it all together, what we felt. And you know my channel. I don't like to give bad reviews. This one just didn't do it for me. To be fair, a big fan of gore and kills. there was a lot of really good kills, a lot of really good gore. Like, this delivered. This is like one of the most brutal Halloween movies. So in that sense, I really liked it. In this sense, I would have rather had them take two different routes. It's like they tried to meet in the middle. It's like, if you're going to have all these kills that Michael Myers is doing and make it brutal, like a Friday the 13th movie, I would rather have it with less context of backstory and just go for the kills and go for that approach of like just a scary slasher just wrecking everyone, which he did. Or I'd like to go the opposite way. I would almost rather have less kills and just better storyline, if that makes sense. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. This was not bad. Like I said, once again, I'll reiterate that when you kind of have a high expectation for this type of film, you know, it can kind of bring it down a notch. And I just think, like, I respect what they were going for. In my honest, humble opinion, I think it fell a little flat. And once again, this doesn't mean I don't suggest checking this movie out. It was fun, but it's kind of like, like I said, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the 2018 version was so good. Like, it's got to be in like the top 5 Halloween movies for me, where this one is probably in the bottom 5 for me. I just didn't really like it, but I mean, regardless, I'm pretty happy to see like new horror coming out and everything. I don't know, like, you guys can tell I'm kind of on the fence about this, because like, one hand I feel the way I mentioned, and vice versa, the red pill, blue pill. Like, I'm still kind of like not knowing how to process this film, which is also a sign of a good movie in a way, because I mean, if I'm still talking about it, still thinking about it, that's a sign of a good film. But as it stands right now, I wasn't too into it. It was just okay. I don't have the heart to say it was bad, because it definitely wasn't a bad movie. Just when you do something so good before, and you have such a legacy to uphold, which when you look at all the most classic franchises like Friday the 13th or Halloween, you have a lot of stinkers in there. And then when you want to go past that to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hellraiser, Child's Play, there are a lot of stinkers in there. Though I think Child's Play is actually one of the best horror franchises of all time, besides like Seed of Chucky kind of sucked, but I digress. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But either way, this is free on Peacock. It's worth a check out. Check it out. And if you can get to a movie theater, maybe it would have hit different in an actual movie theater. But regardless, I had a lot of fun chilling with Nick Baker and Mr. Dylan Baker and watching this movie. I know they barbecued earlier and we had all types of good grub. So, I mean, it was a good night in general watching some horror flicks. Just, I'm not going to lie to myself. It fell a little flat. And it is what it is. So, if I got to sum it up, it was average at best. The kills helped carry it and made it pretty awesome to watch with these violent kills. Some of the most brutal shit Michael Myers has ever done. But there is a lot of plot holes in a movie, which will happen when you have a franchise that goes back 43 years. But overall, it was average at best. But regardless, I can't complain, because you know what this channel is about, horror movies. And it's got a lot of you guys out there checking this movie out, watching these new horror movies during October. So, yeah, as much as I didn't care for it, I would suggest checking it out, because, I mean, it was fun in certain ways, just maybe not for me. So yeah, that's my Halloween review. I didn't know what to expect. I've ran it on a lot longer than I thought it would, so I apologize for that. But yeah, it was just okay. Check it out if you like. I suggest that. Other than that, watch some good horror movies. Throw on the originals, because these are the best. And I hope everyone's doing good in the month of October, doing some spooky stuff. Other than that, Blood Guts Gore. I'll check you guys next time.